Today, we're diving deep into something that's been eating at me for weeks now. There's this character in the Amazing Digital Circus that barely gets any screen time, yet somehow he's become the most talked about mystery in the entire fandom. I'm talking about Ribbit, and trust me, once you hear what I've pieced together, you're going to understand why this little frog might be the key to everything. Here's the thing that's been bugging me. Why would the creators spend so much time developing a character we've barely seen? It doesn't make sense unless there's something massive coming our way. Think about it. We've got official concept art, voice actor slip-ups during live streams, and deliberate visual cues in multiple episodes. That's not accidental, guys. The voice cast has been dropping hints left and right about Ribbit having this incredibly detailed backstory that we haven't seen yet. But here's where it gets really interesting. During one of the live streams, Ashley Nichols, who voices Zooble, was talking about Ribbit, and she said something like,
"Using knowledge I have of Ribbit that you guys don't have yet, Ribbit's smash."
Uh-oh.
And then she immediately realized she was about to spoil something major and cut herself off. That moment right there, that's not someone trying to build hype about a minor character. That's someone who knows serious plot details and almost accidentally revealed them. You don't create that level of behind-the-scenes knowledge for a throwaway character. This frog is going to be huge. Let me break down something most people missed. In episode 6, there's this scene where we see different character doors, right? But here's what's interesting, the camera work. They deliberately linger on Ribbit's door longer than necessary. That's called visual storytelling, and it's screaming that we need to pay attention to this character. Here's where it gets really wild. Jax's reaction to seeing Ribbit's door versus his reaction to Kaufmo's door, completely different emotional responses. With Kaufmo, there's general discomfort, the kind you'd expect from anyone seeing a reminder of abstraction. But with Ribbit, there's something personal there, something that cuts deeper. Now, here's where things get really spicy. So there was this whole situation on social media where fans were discussing Ribbit's gender after someone claimed it was confirmed during a live stream by Sean. But then Michael Kovach jumped in and immediately shut that down, saying that wasn't what happened at all. But here's where it gets interesting. When a fan directly asked Michael, "Didn't Goose confirm Ribbit was he/him a while ago?" his response was pretty telling. He basically said, "Nope. Goose will say something vague, fans misinterpret it, and the fandom clings to the misinterpretation. I'm worried about fans being disappointed when certain things turn out to be misinformation, as if Goose lied when she never confirmed anything to begin with." Now, here's my take on this whole exchange. Michael isn't just randomly correcting fan theories for fun. He's specifically worried about people being disappointed when official details come out. That tells me two things. First, there are official details that exist and are different from fan assumptions. And second, those details are significant enough that he's concerned about backlash. When someone's that protective about spoilers and that worried about fan disappointment, it usually means there's something major worth protecting. The fact that he took time to specifically address Ribbit speculation suggests this character is way more important than we initially thought. But here's the kicker. What if that advice is exactly what caused Ribbit to abstract? Think about it. Forcing someone to go against their core nature, to suppress their natural empathy and kindness, could create the kind of internal conflict that leads to a mental breakdown. Ribbit tries to follow Jax's survival guide, but it's like asking a fish to live on land. The constant battle between who he really is and who he's trying to be slowly tears him apart from the inside. And Jax has to watch his best friend destroy himself following advice that Jax gave him. Remember that scene where Ragatha confronts Jax about what he's doing to Pomni? She says she knows exactly what his game is.
I know exactly what you're doing with Pomni, and it'll never work!
Huh?
You know, getting close with Pomni to corrupt her.
But how could she know unless she's seen this pattern before? Ragatha probably watched the whole Jax-Ribbit situation unfold. She saw how Jax's help actually made things worse, and now she's watching him try the same approach with Pomni. That's why she's so certain about his intentions and why Jax gets so defensive, because deep down, he knows she's right. What makes this theory so terrifying is that it turns the abstraction process into something more psychological than we initially thought. It's not just about going crazy from being trapped. It's about the specific ways that caring relationships can become toxic when filtered through trauma and fear. Jax genuinely loves his friend and wants to protect him, but his own trauma and survival instincts make him give advice that's literally poison to someone with Ribbit's personality. It's the kind of tragic irony that fits perfectly with the show's psychological horror elements. What makes this theory so compelling is that it explains so many character behaviors that seemed random before. Why is Jax so specifically cruel to characters who show empathy? Why does he seem to have such a strong reaction to Pomni's kindness? Why is he so good at deflecting emotional conversations? It's all defense mechanisms built around the trauma of losing his best friend to advice he gave with the best intentions. Listen carefully to how different voice actors talk about Ribbit during live streams and interviews. There's this consistent tone of, "Oh man, you guys aren't ready for this." That's not the tone you use for a simple backstory reveal. That's the tone you use when you know something's going to emotionally destroy the audience. The fact that multiple cast members have had to catch themselves from revealing too much suggests that Ribbit's story is central to major plot developments, not just a side character's tragic end. Here's what I think is going to happen. Episode 7 gives us the full Ribbit flashback, showing us exactly how Jax's well-intentioned advice led to his friend's destruction. We'll see Jax before he became emotionally closed off, and we'll understand that his current cruelty is actually a twisted form of protection. But here's the real kicker. I think this revelation is going to force Jax to confront whether his current approach with Pomni is just repeating the same cycle. The episode might end with Jax having to choose between maintaining his emotional walls or risking genuine connection again. I could be totally off here. But the amount of detail the creators have given Ribbit proves his story will be huge. The hints are all there. Visual cues, voice actor slip-ups, character behavior, even concept art. Something big is coming, and Ribbit's right at the center. So what do you think? Am I onto something or just overanalyzing? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you like this deep dive, hit subscribe for more Digital Circus theories.